So I want to say with this series there is never a dull episode, but that's not really up to me to decide, is there? Although, in saying that, I have a feeling that today is probably not going to be a dull episode because, again, we find ourselves in a very interesting situation. And my God, I didn't notice how bad the Calgary Flames absolutely suck. Today, or at least as it stands, we are currently in second place in the division on tiebreaker over Boston, but regardless, we're in second place in the division, just shy of the halfway point of the season, a season in which we were tempted to potentially blow it up, because as we discussed, the talent just isn't spread out well enough for this team to succeed in theory. And I say that because, again, of course, we have had success this season. We do have some prospects along the way. Odds are they aren't going to be guys who are going to be major game changers because medium top 4 defense and medium top 6 forwards don't happen to develop as well as they used to for whatever reason. At least that's my experience with this game. If the goaltending can step up, I mean, Daig's been great, but if Astles can step up and things continue to go our way, it's not going to be surprising if we make the playoffs. It's the question of whether or not this team is built well enough, which, I mean, really, it's down to luck. I can't build the team in a traditional way. There's no trading or free agency factoring into the series. But it's a question as to whether or not this team's built well enough that the sim engine is going to look kindly upon us. And it's a shame because it should. Now, again, we've had this discussion quite a few times. I'm cool with Tampa Bay-esque teams losing in the first round or being swept in the first round, but it seems to happen far too often, right? Like I said, if that happens 20% of the time, I'm cool with it. In theory, we should be that team that beats a team in the playoffs that we have no business beating. That has not happened yet. We are 0 for 2 against the Buffalo Sabres. So, not playing by the same rules as the AI has continued to be problematic in more ways than one. It's January 1st. We're over 2 months out from the deadline. We're going to sim a little bit, see what's happening, maybe make line combo changes, and if it's not looking too good, maybe we do say goodbye to some people on this team. Now, again, in terms of trading, it does suck that we established the original rules for Draft to Glory as such that we cannot trade players for draft picks. That was to make this series even more difficult and to make it that much more important to us to hit with our draft picks and have them be players that are going to carry the team. That is the point. Giving up players right now and getting nothing in return would suck and would set this team back a long, long way. That might not be something that we have to do. We are currently 5 points clear of the Boston Bruins as of February 1st for sole possession of second place in the Atlantic Division. Surprise, surprise, the Buffalo Sabres continue to do well and be a massive thorn in my side. As it stands, I'm not giving up. But a lot could change over the course of this next month. Brody Appleby has 40 points in 50 games. Solid. I'll take that. Boris Nazarov continuing to do well. 42 points in 50 games. He has 25 goals. And then Alex Holtz, the best person on this team, 39 points in 50 games. Isn't quite good enough for how much we're paying him. Now, is it? I mean, Nazarov and Holtz are the two oldest members of this team. They might not be long for this team. Timofey Kavanov has 6 goals and 16 assists, 22 points. I can math, I promise. 22 points in 50 games. Grigorenko, yeah, it's a bit rough. He hasn't quite been what I've wanted him to be. Again, he's not the only guy who's struggled. And then Kamel with some goals as well. Damn it, I can't really make that change, can I? What's the third line looking like? Benson with 18 points. Korobov's doing really well. Okay, there's a clear change to be made here. No, that's still a bad mix, huh? Damn it. Grigorenko still has top PK time, or power play time as well, I think. We're going to leave it as is. That's going to be the new third line, and the fourth line, again, is kind of irrelevant for us. Defensively, Finneganov's doing well. Trafford's doing well. Montgomery and Doughty, I can't really complain. The third line's not getting ripped apart. And goaltending-wise, Daig is killing it. Astel's save percentage has gone up. But man, if we make the playoffs, Philippe Daig might be the number one for us, which is hilarious. I'm still not pulling the trigger on blowing this team up, because the situation right now is looking good. But like I said, a lot can change over the course of this next month. The deadline is in exactly 1 month, of course, short month. February, non-leap year. It is on March 1st. That is going to be the deciding date. We will see how we do. If we're still on a playoff pace, it makes no sense whatsoever to blow the team up, because we're high enough in the standings that we wouldn't end up with high odds in the lottery. Although, we've seen what happens in the series. When we do have high odds in the lottery, we end up with the number 4 overall pick the vast majority of the time. So that's always fun. But we're on 35 wins now. 2 weeks out from deadline day. We lose to the Blues. We were 10 points clear of the Bruins. I'm not sure if we're still there. The Bruins have actually fallen off. It's the Leafs that are there. Although there was a massive tie. A loss to Arizona hurts. A win against Edmonton helps. We are 4 points clear of the Leafs. It's close. We need to win out here. We'll see what happens. We beat Detroit. Big game against the Kings, and then a bigger game against the Sabres. We lose to LA. Can we beat the Sabres? No, we cannot. So as of March 1st, we are still in second place, 4 points clear of the Toronto Maple Leafs for second place in the Atlantic. The Bruins are in it, the Lightning are in it, the Panthers are in it, the Sens are in it. Hell, even the Habs are still in the playoff hunt. It is a very, very close division compared to the Metro. Not so much. Not so much. We are in what I would imagine would be, almost the most competitive. The Pacific is pretty competitive as well in terms of the most competitive division. So looking here, what do we have? Appleby. Jesus. What a stat line. My God. 4 goals, 50 assists. Nazarov on 50 points. Again, that top line just isn't quite doing what we need them to do. It's tough to complain, though. Kamel and Greg nearly up to 30 goals each. Kavanaugh, Benson, and Jovo, a little bit more accurate numbers for players on those lines. Can I move Kamel and Holtz? I can hit the wrong button. I can do that. Yeah, it doesn't really help. Nazarov really isn't a good fit, but we're not going to drop him to the third line. That would be insane. And dropping Appleby doesn't make much sense, so there's really no way to get Grigorenko back on that top line right now, so that stays. It's too late to blow it up. Even if I wanted to, we're in too good of a position to blow it up. Because we're in the strongest division. We're ahead of everybody except for Buffalo. We have to be, I would assume we're a top 5 team in the NHL right now. Is that assumption correct? It is. We are the 5th best team in the NHL right now. There's no way for us to blow this up and have it work out for us in terms of getting a good pick. We're going with it. We're sticking with this. The goal scoring's mid-table. Goals against average is mid-table. No, it's not. It's the second lowest goals against average per game, tied with the Tampa Bay Lightning. That's insanity. Our power play is at 25%, which is top 5 in the league. Our penalty kill was at 79.6%, which could be a little bit better, but it isn't horrible. For, the third year out of 4, we continue to be somewhat of a force in terms of regular season simming. But whether or not that turns into that playoff success, I don't know. Now, we absolutely need to change this. See what we can do with Benson, Kavanaugh. So Benson's there. Can I get Kavanagh on the kill? Again, we're always going to struggle with the kill because we don't have the proper player types. Can I get Kapusta and Jovanovski? And how well? Not Kavanagh. Whoops. Kapusta, I say. Kapusta. Thank you. And how will Jovanovski fit in? That's rough. That is a bit rough. Okay, that helps. That helps a lot. What if we take out Stewart? Because I'm thinking Stewart is the problem. Kapusta and Jovo really don't fit in with the PK strategy, though. What if we actually take him out? What if we go with Savret? Does he fit in? He does. Okay, at least he's not a negative. What about Bobkov? Not so much. There's got to be somebody who fits in the bottom six that we can sacrifice here. What about Kavanagh? No. And Benson's already in. What if we change out Stewart and we put a Finneganoff in there? So Finneganoff's a fit, it's just Bobkov isn't. And that's the big problem. So what if put Cochran there? I know he's a a defenseman playing forward, but there's got to be a way. I don't think there is. I was going to say there's got to be a way to make this work. What if we take out Doughty and go with Bobkov? I mean, I think I'm going to have to use a higher up option, which is obviously what I was trying to avoid doing. So there we go. That's going to be the PK. And then again, that 3-on-3, or the 5-on-3, 4-on-3, whatever, 3-man penalty kill, it's going to be brutal regardless. We've made up our minds. At least I've made up my mind. For this year, we go for it. It's looking like we're going to be a playoff team again. It would take a magical run for this to go our way. If we do indeed make the playoffs, which, I mean, we could easily slip up here. This month has not been kind to us thus far. We could easily slip up and screw ourselves out of the playoffs, in which case this would be remembered as one of the worst decisions I've ever made, and would certainly result in me blowing up this team at the draft. If we do make it, again, in theory, we should lose in the playoffs based off of the strengths, or should I say weaknesses, of our squad. But if you look at the flip side, if this was an AI team going up against us, say what the team Buffalo has, I would almost expect us to lose because that's how the sim works. But thankfully, we don't have to worry about this team missing the playoffs. We're back. 47 wins and postseason bound. Right now, it's looking like we have second place locked up. We do still have some business to take care of, but the Buffalo Sabres are cruising, and one can only hope, and it will indeed be the case, the Sabres are going to be moving over to the other side of the bracket. They're going to be moving over to the Metro side, which is amazing news. So maybe, just maybe, that's the bit of luck that we needed, was to not have to run in to the Buffalo Sabres. We beat the Islanders. We are 6 points clear with 4 games left. Another win should do it. Can we beat the struggling Sharks? Yes, we can. And with that, unless Toronto wins that makeup game, we should be fine. Toronto has to win out. They are 6 points out. Okay, so yeah, we'd have to lose every game. They'd have to win all 3 games. We are going to be the second place team in the Atlantic Division this season. Or not. Toronto's 4 points back. Beat Montreal, please. Please beat Montreal. Jesus. This isn't over yet. Oh, thank God Toronto lost. We are the second place team in the Atlantic Division. Thank God for that. And we are postseason bound yet again as we beat the Winnipeg Jets to end this season. The 2030-31 season has come to a close. 50 wins yet again for the Mariners of this all-out offense series. In the Pacific, you had Vegas, Edmonton, and Anaheim. Calgary was god-awful. In the Central, you had Detroit, Minnesota, Colorado, St. Louis, and Dallas make the playoffs. In the Atlantic, Buffalo, ourselves, Toronto, Tampa, and Ottawa. Montreal missed out, and look at that, man. That division is so stacked, so tight. The Rangers, Hurricanes, and Penguins make it out of the Metro. Oh, boy. That's not good. I don't know how this bracket's going to go now. I didn't think Ottawa was going to get it. Damn it. Buffalo stayed on this side. The other wildcard spot I thought was going to go to the Islanders, and they fell off. Buffalo stays on this side of the bracket. The Tampa Bay Lightning go over to the Metro side. We won't be playing the Sabres in the first round. We can't overlook the Toronto Maple Leafs. We won 47 games this year. But if we get past them, it's almost a certainty that the Sabres will await the winner of that series. Third time might be the charm. I'm not holding my breath. Regardless, looking at the team, Joakim Kemell, 32 goals and 70 points. Solid. Alex Holtz, 30 goals, 68 points. Solid. Not amazing, though, for someone who's put up nearly 100 points in a season. Appleby, 5 goals, 61 assists. That's insane. Boris Nazarov, 30 goal scorer. Grigorenko, 30 goal scorer. So the big names are carrying this team. Total points, but goals are there. Korobov, Kavanov. Korobov did well. Kavanov, Benson, and Jovo all over 30 points. And the fourth line wasn't amazing, but they weren't horrific either. Defensively, we have Afinoganov at 58 points, 25 goals for Ivan Afinoganov, who is arguably right now our top defenseman. He has tremendous shot accuracy, tremendous puck skills, and tremendous offensive awareness. Key player for us right now. 50 points for Zane Trafford, 43 for Montgomery. And of course you have the likes of Jamie Doughty, who is a mystery to me. Goaltending-wise, Astel's a .901 save percentage. Philippi Daig, .927. We have a bit of a goalie controversy on our hands. Again. Do we go with the starter, or do we go with the backup, who went 17-8-2 this season? I'm going to leave that up to you. That is a pretty damn tough call. Around the league, we'll at least take a look at the top options before getting confirmation that we are indeed playing the Leafs. Peter Reynolds, Matt Savoy, Leo Gotch, the only 3 to break the 100-point mark. You still have McDavid and Draisaitl up there. Absolute wagon for their team. Marner, McKinnon, Xavier Vitale for the Rangers. Gregory Denisenko doing well for the Dallas Stars. David Pasternak's a king. Defensively, Luke Hughes leads the way. Adam Fox, Eric Brandstrom, a lot of the familiar faces I think that you would expect. The goal-scoring king, though, for defensemen was actually Adam Fox, which is crazy. Multiple 20 goal scorers on defense, and the goal-scoring king for the forwards, it was Savoy and Reynolds, who were tied. Shane Wright also broke the 50-goal mark. And then goaltending-wise, we have Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, the winningest, to the surprise of absolutely nobody. The shutout king was Matt Marshall of the New York Islanders, former Winnipeg Jets draft pick. The save percentage leader was Daig. Amongst starters, it's Luukkonen. Look at the difference in save percentages between those two. It was a lower year for save percentages. I mean, Luukkonen's going to win the Vezina, so keep that in mind as well, I guess, in terms of how we judge who gets the start and goal. Noah Ferraro of the Montreal Canadiens is going to win the Calder unless they give it to Isaac Lukowicz based off of the extra goals. Well, let's get the confirmation. We know it's going to be the Toronto Maple Leafs in round 1. The question is, can we make it past them? And for what it's worth, the AHL team did not make the playoffs. Can we make it past them? I don't know if we can. It's Ottawa and Buffalo, Rangers, Lightning, Hurricanes, and Penguins. In the West, Vegas, St. Louis, Edmonton, Anaheim, Detroit, Dallas, Minnesota, and Colorado. 50-win season, home ice advantage in the first round. Will it all be for naught? And if it is this the last hurrah for this team as they currently stand?